Alright. Hello, Verse. I am Christian Moe, lead developer here at Ceti Labs. We are a small indie team developing hard sci-fi games. Just to start off, what you're looking at here is a satellite actually in orbit. If you let this run, you'll see it's actually in an hyperbolic orbit. There we go. And it takes some time. But if you saw the last stream, this satellite was much farther out. That's because I had this running for like an hour before the stream started. Anyway, so orbital mechanics is just a small taste of the science that we actually have cooked into this game. So, again, Ceti Labs is starting with LithoBreak as our first game. This is a story-driven development sim. A mouthful, but we think we've taken the synergies of the two concepts and blended it well, and I hope you agree. So let's jump in.
Son of a scrum sucker. Ow! God damn it! Faulty dimwat converter. Circuit! Where's that new data pad? Get out of there, you rock crack. Okay, let's see what we got.
Incoming worm dispatch.
Okay. So, story. You play as Eli, an eccentric, scientist. He was kind of fallen from grace a little bit, though kind of pushed from grace a little bit. But you'll see his backstory kind of get fleshed out through episode 1 and through the rest of the episodes that we have planned. So instead of starting with this, we'll actually start chronologically.
This is what you do with your time?
Just because you don't play Mecha Battle doesn't mean it doesn't exist, Uncle Eli. I make some of the most popular battle designs in the...
So you design the battles, the field? That what?
Mecha's raw. I designed the mecha. Each one has parts made of different materials. Better the materials, stronger the mecha. Better the design, better the performance. But designing good parts with the built-in CAD tool takes time. And credits, Raw, lots of credits.
Well, that almost sounds like engineering. You're a surprising little fearling, aren't you?
You know, most players don't design, but I like it. You should use Mecha to help out LithoBreak. They're more of a software company than game developer, if you find the right programmers.
Well, I'm not sure our simple moon mining tech is compatible with a video game, or even of interest to them.
Give them a chance, Ra. It's called Cetus Tech. Check them out.
I'd rather give you a chance. Get your engineering degree, and I'll find you a job.
Sure, Ra. Whatever.
Okay.
Todd, my favorite no-good only nephew. Time to get out of the basement and think about your future, kid. Remember the Mecha Battlefields game? You said that Cetus Tech programming could be integrated into LithoBreak here at 61 Cygni Station. Well, you were right, you little circling. Been integrating Cetus Tech for years now, and I want you to come make upgrades. Be just like building those mechas, but in real life. Got plenty of coffee and a view of the moon you have to see to believe. Send me a yes, and I'll book transport immediately. The verse awaits, kid. Uncle Eli.
All right. There's also some background information on his business, if you want to read through. We'll have more.
Eli. It's been a long time. Years, actually. Did you even realize that when you wrote with a job offer for Todd? Not even a short note or hello for your only sister? Par for the course. Us fearlings don't interest you much anymore, even when we are family. I am glad to see your name has been cleared. That said, your nephew must decline your research and development offer. I think it's best we maintain our distance, don't you? Please eat something nutritious once in a while. You can't live on coffee. Serena.
So Serena wants Todd to work, just not for me.
Name has been cleared. There's some history there.
Did my sister even show the kid the offer?
Probably not. As I mentioned, the satellite that was in orbit, that was a different scene, so it's not actually in orbit right now. That was just a glimpse at all the orbital mechanics that we have going on in this game. This station,
Proximity to the kitchen insufficient.
oh dear. This station itself is on an orbit, and that gets updated and calculated in real time. It's in orbit over this moon, and this moon is orbiting the planet, which is orbiting the sun, or the star. And this star and that star are a binary system. So they do slowly orbit each other too. And all these moons
Proceed to the kitchen.
also orbit this planet, and there are also a couple planets you can see out there. And if you play this game long enough, and you will actually see all of these. Again, as we rotate, as we orbit, everything will change. We also see this moon, especially this moon, change position with the planet here. So keep an eye out as we go along. Ah, yes. And this is like fresh off the presses. Very important stuff here. Coffee animation.
Incoming worm dispatch from Janice at Cetus Tech.
Janice. What are you up to today?
Wait for it. Oh. Okay. Work in progress. Anyway, yeah, sweet sound of making coffee. could play in the background as we continue on with the story.
Eli, hope this finds you well and not too badly singed from whatever you're working on these days. Enclosed are the latest updates to the communications system. Be aware it will require any existing systems to be retrofitted. Upgrades to the mixing and sifting integrated software are included. This initiation should be very helpful to you and set you up for the time to come. I worked these enhancements myself. Take care of this one for me. And take care of you old ray tracer. Janice Barnes, Automation Systems Lead, Cetus Tech.
Janice never gets personal. Huh. Holy crack. That's a massive file. Not many of us even have this kind of capacity. Let the verse. Upload.
Hi, I'm Sarah, your new AI assistant. By installing this system on your device, you have agreed to all terms and conditions. Beginning assessment to fully assist you.
So far, so good.
Analyzing financial history.
What the circ?
Accessing station infrastructure. Firewall established. Reconfiguring local network. Overriding all control.
Whoa, darling. You gotta earn that kind of trust. You're a rookie.
Pausing assessment.
Oh, yeah.
My algorithms have been heavily scrutinized to avoid harm or unwanted circumstance to my user. Further, I am rigorously tested prototype software. Also, I have a nice voice.
Yeah, I admit it's a very nice voice. Okay, but...
Authorization acknowledged. Continuing. Constructing preferences, capturing facial likeness, assessing the situation, generating actionable items.
You seem nice, but this is moving a little fast for me.
Shall I send relevant equipment to the moon's surface for testing?
You scanned my personal notes?
Only for your convenience. I am here to assist. Sending down now.
I didn't authorize that.
Yeah. I think she's our favorite. Yeah. Sarah comes in. She definitely has a mind of her own.
To proceed, please boot up console.
But she's overall helpful. Just gonna take a moment to walk around the station. Our artist has done a fantastic work.
Console location is in the middle of the room.
Dealing with me and my mechanical engineering demands and making it look like a station in orbit. I don't know. Might be biased. But, and of course,
Just walk up to it. It will automatically enable.
in the 61 Cygni system, coffee has been all but, made illegal by the corporation. So, Eli's taken it into his own hands to, get his own coffee plants, make his own coffee, because he's not going to just drink the synth brew that, Virginis is going to give him. Let's see, can I get that? Or sell him. Overpriced. Whatever. Okay. As I jump into the console, you'll see we'll end up about there on the moon. That's where the mining base is. But of course, it's so far away you would not be able to see it from orbit, from this high up at least. Because, this is huge.
Was that so hard?
Okay.
Please
And
test
then-
newly enabled operations. I will remain in test mode. No lunar action will be taken.
Sarah, you little speed cracker, all the new parts are on the moon's surface. That was fast.
I'm here to help. These parts are necessary to regain stable communications with the mining equipment, a necessity for our ongoing research, am I right?
Well, right, but let's agree that searching my finances was not necessary. That's what we call a boundary, okay? And did I hear you say I'm? Since when does AI use contractions? Sarah?
Okay. One more thing about the roll mechanics. We are now on the moon. The satellite, or the the station is going to be about out there somewhere, along this orbital plane. And as I speed up time, you'll actually see this moon actually speeds up, and all the stars in the background too. So we are actually calculating the orbital mechanics even as in real time as you speed up time, which is, you know, I don't know. I think that's really cool. Very few games do that. So, I've been talking about orbital mechanics so much as a simulation, but we do have many, many more. One thing that I think I would consider simulation is the building up of all of these buildings. So it's actually taking parts, and each of these parts has a health to them. So they wear out over time. They get hit by micrometeorites, and they just, general wear and tear. So they all will need to be replaced in time. Some will wear out sooner than others, etc., etc., especially the moving parts. But yeah, you'll need to be able to make and maintain a production infrastructure so that it doesn't break down and you end up stuck without a way of communicating, in this case, back to the station, or or game over maybe, although it'll probably just have you send down a shuttle because it's got little communications devices on it. Oh, and this is also one of our favorite models. Allie did a great job. You'll be seeing this. It's actually, it's in the intro. But, these extend out so that it doesn't blow up dust all over the place. At least it blows out when it lands. So on and so forth. Engineering geekiness and, great artistry combined to make this, just fantastic little model. Well, not little. This thing is comparable to the station size, so. Well, comparable. It's like less than an order of magnitude smaller. But anyway, let's move on. Right? Alright. So here's another part of the simulations.
It may take time for the auto maintenance to complete the build.
Again, what you're seeing here is actually like silicon dioxide, aluminum oxide, iron oxide. These are actually components of all of the ceramics that you're picking up, basically regolith. If you look at like NASA's moon data sheet, it actually they list out the ceramics that were found, ceramic crystals that were found on the moon's surface, just like you'd find here on Earth, although we have a lot of organics too. On a moon surface, you just have basically very fine grained ceramics, and you pick that up. And in this case, we're picking it up, and we're actually filling and using that as our starting material. So the first material start off with ceramics. That's episode 1. Then we'll go into metals and then liquids and gases. It's fluids. Taking an engineering course, talk about fluids, not liquids and gases. It's all fluids. As you can see, it's picking up about 50% silicon dioxide, lots of iron oxide, which is part of the reason why this material is so terrible in compressive strength. And then some aluminum oxide, so on and so forth. So this is actually like the material that's in there. And as we move on to metals, you'll have to, get silicon dioxide if you want silicon metal. You'll need some silicon oxide purified, pretty purified to start with. But we'll get there in episode 2. Yeah. Make a spoiler for episode 2. Also, this has been fully built, and now it's got, as you can see, like once it's constructed, they'll start moving and showing you that it's ready. And we got a really good comment the other day that we should be, like we have, when we place down a building, it will show...
Let's set up some storage before making more advanced materials.
It will show you the construction progress around the outside, but then it doesn't show you the actual production process of, like, this is the powder printer. We're going to get there. That's a really good suggestion, and we're definitely going to jump on that. So if you have any other suggestions, please let us know, because we do act on them. This game is far better than it was when we started the playtest. It's already improved from when we started the demo, so we do listen. Including this little animation. That's another part of the suggestions about, it's not completely clear how you set this up. So here we go. So now we're taking this material, this ceramic material, regolith, and going to use it directly in the printer. Again, we have terrible material properties, so we can't make all the parts here. So if we open up the silo, we've got the chute and the base. They need some compressive strength, and we just don't have it yet. So the durability is 0.0. It needs to be at least 1.0 to allow you to build it. So we're just going to check all of these. And we'll start going. So now that we can make all the warehouse parts, lots of warehouse parts, we can now build a warehouse. Just notice that there's some silo parts that can't be made, but all of these are producible, although none are in any inventory yet. So there we go.
In order to separate materials, more infrastructure is necessary.
All right. And we already have the sifter parts available to produce. And you'll notice down here that we do have the material that's from the miner. It's the same, material. We'll be using this to just have more control over what's in there. So right now it's got everything. Soon you'll be able to set what you want in there, so you can get a little more idea of what you have, how much material you have of it, and like if you have a junk material like what we're going to end up with here, it doesn't have to clog up your interface. So here's I've lost track already, but here's another simulation. It's sifting out the density. I actually just changed this because it was not I tried it on the last live stream to try and get aluminum oxide in like 50%, and it was just that was like 7 sifters that were required, so that's not good. But what we want right now is to get this material properties up above 700. You can see, like, off the bat, just putting it in the sifter it's already concentrating silicon dioxide up quite close to 690. We might need to rebalance that. But for this regolith that's coming in, once it goes through the sifter, it's actually sifting it out by density. So you'll see the materials over here are the least dense to the left, and you get more and more dense as you go to the right. And you can see it, you know, the heavier materials end up in this corner, lighter materials end up in this corner. You know, it's just calculating what it would be like if you were to sift this by density somehow. And now you can just turn these sliders and you can see the simulation is updating in real time. Like, there's quite a complex simulation going on in the background, but we've been able to get it so that you can actually, you know, play with it, play with science. That's what we're all about. So that's all you really have to do. You got 2 sliders. You can make your material better or worse. And I think this, I'm geeking out over this right now because I just keep on geeking out every time I see this, because you actually see the material contents change as you slide these sliders. So yeah, I am biased, I know, but I like this game. So let's move on before I geek out some more, although that will happen again. Well, at least let's make some progress here. Construct a second powder printer. So in here, all right, I want to put it near this sifter because that's where the material is going to come from. And that mostly silicon dioxide material. It's like 80% at this point. We'll go in here. And now, well, I made it too good. But yeah, now we can make silo parts. And now that we can make silo parts, these actually light up green. And let us construct the silo. Or at least place it down. It takes some time for all these builders to do stuff. Or I meant to add a second builder. That will be in the next demo. So it takes some time to build these, but you can completely use the buildings before construction is completed. It just won't start to produce the buildings until the part and materials are available. So in this case, the miner is going to be taking materials, and the hauler is going to take them into the sifter. We'll just speed this up so that, yeah, it does take some time, and we'll, yeah, another builder in the scene will make a load of difference in terms of how long it takes to build. We'll also have the builder just carrying more items at a time. But yeah, let me see if I can get these all lined up. Now I've lost the miner. Oh, there he is. Alright, so the miner is taking in the material into the sifter. The sifter is going to be putting it into the next printer, there to there, and then you'll be making parts, and those parts will make that silo there. And that warehouse too. But yeah. I guess that warehouse is actually going to be built with these parts. Yeah. So let's move on. So I think I'm just going to buffer some of the starting material.
Eli,
in the
making
silo.
and selling replacement rocket parts could provide income to fund our off-the-record experiments.
How did you... You may be a program, but you're a little grifter, aren't you?
Janice instructed me to assist in all of your legitimate development and off-the-server experiments.
Hey, research I do is legitimate. But it would be nice if the board remained unaware of certain purchases and activities.
Okay. So normally I would just throw down a second sifter. I'm just going to do this anyway. Even though I can make them right here, I'm just going to go through the extra steps. So now we could take either of these materials. But if you can see, even if we were to concentrate up iron oxide as much as possible, it has... Oh dear. That's broken. Oh no. Hold on, what's going on? Oh no, there's a bug. I'll have to fix that before I upload. Boy. I could be doing that. Anyway, the iron oxide, even when it's concentrated up significantly, it's still such terrible material properties. It's rust. So silicon oxide is pretty strong. Aluminum's a little bit stronger. Actually, I'm not sure about that. Anyway, aluminum oxide can get up to a really high temperature. So yeah. But, you know, iron oxide is just rust. It's powder. It flakes apart like crazy. So it's not a good building material whatsoever. Until you make iron. That'll be in episode 2. In the free play mode. But anyway. So what we want to do is probably want to start with the silicon dioxide and just concentrate that up, you know, even further. And we can get, you know, 1,000 kilopascals. Hold on. Yeah, something's... I'll fix that. Yeah, you can see it like flashing there, the actual values that it has. So yeah, now we can get like 90-some% silicon dioxide, which is going to be quite well concentrated, very useful for building. Again, these are density sifting simulations, you know, running on top. And you can see like the lightest materials are actually starting to get visible. So now let's move on again. Yeah. So now I take that very good, very high, let's see, yeah, it's like 90%. 90% silicon dioxide. And I use it, at least these are working. Use it directly in the printer. And I can either just have, like the combustion chamber is what's really needing the high strength and high temperature combined. So I could just make it here and then have this one, which is also using the more abundant material, and making it there.
Sarah, there are laws limiting AI intelligence levels. Are you legal?
Cetus Tech is keenly aware of the AI laws and the Kronos Initiative.
Didn't answer the question. How very human of you. You are definitely pushing the boundaries of legality, aren't you, Sarah? Janice, you little tracer.
Janice is not present. She is 127 light years away. Ready to produce general spacecraft products for immediate sale. Shall we proceed?
But yeah, like, so the the sequence is this sifter makes that material, which then gets used here. This will just kind of get it'll fill up the buffer and then get dumped, whatever's overflowing. Though you may want to use that iron oxide somewhere else down the road. So yeah, keeping these balanced. If you're into that, we've got it. And then this material then either gets used directly in the printer or gets sent along to another sifter, which then further refines it and then gets used in another printer for even higher, higher material property requirement parts. So just simulations on top of simulations, all while orbiting. Yeah, this is Tausay Labs. This is what we do. More to come. More to come in this game. More simulations. We've got, more to build up on top of the, basic silicon dioxide. We're going to take that and we're actually going to, when you go to make a metal out of it, we're going to make sure that the mass is correct from, the silicon dioxide starting material to the silicon metal. So you'll see that, redox process happening as you remove the oxygen. You're also removing a lot of the mass. So if you start up with a big mass of silicon dioxide, you're going to end up with a smaller mass of silicon. And that's science. We're going to adhere to those principles, or those laws of physics and chemistry. So, I don't know. I'm geeking out. You should be geeking out too. Even if you aren't, you should be. Alright, let's move on.
Now those questionable experiment expenses can be hidden from the LithoBreak board. Congrats.
Congrats? Right. Totally normal artificial intelligence speech.
Eli, the legality of my programming is the least of your worries. A warp signature has been detected. Close approach. Identification, Virginus Corporation.
What are those moheads doing near my moon?
I advise visual confirmation.
What does that mean?
Step away from the console and see for yourself. Incoming vid call from Alfred Weathers, member of Virginus Corporation.
Station occupant, I am legally required to inform you of a satellite safety survey to better assess emergencies at your property.
Alfred, you scrum sucker. What are you doing with a fleet of surveillance satellites over my moon?
Just watching out for the verse and keeping an eye on an old lawbreaker.
And what exactly do you think you're gonna find?
Who knows with your record?
Oh, my name's been cleared, and you're the circling who falsely accused me in the first place.
Do you expect an apology? Need I remind you that your collaborators at B&M are poaching my engineers as we speak?
I have nothing to do with that.
Why else would you decide to come back to my neck of the cosmos?
Crack off.
This is personal for me, Eli. One nanoprobe out of place and I'll blast it all over the worm net. You won't slip through my fingers twice.
It seems prudent to increase firewall protection over the worm net. Shall I proceed?
Yeah, well, I need all the help I can get. Proceed, and ensure anything leaving the station is encrypted for both our sakes.
I'm happy to help.
Well, there's that contraction again. I like it.
The coffee is ready in the kitchen, or feel free to go back to the console and continue to work.
Uh-huh.
And just as we were geeking out, someone shows up to ruin the fun. Except this is actually really geeky too. So this satellite is actually position keeping. It's in orbit too. It's in its own orbit. It'll drift and move on its own orbit relative to the station. And it's actually firing little thrusters to change its velocity just a little bit. And it's got some error baked in because otherwise it's not going to fire the thrusters very much. And it's actually keeping its position relative to the station. As this orbits the moon and as it orbits the moon. And all these little satellites are position keeping. They're moving, but they are, you know, following little nodes as they undock from this other satellite. They too are in orbit over the moon, and they're position keeping off of this, which is position keeping off of the station, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, I think it's really cool that there's, you know, full orbital mechanics going on here, and this is 19 satellites that are about to be added, and I mean, it's all I'm the programmer here, so getting this all to be working like super quick without any notice to any frame rate issues, as you get hundreds of these if we want to hundreds of these satellites just flying around. I had a demo test where I just had literally hundreds of them just floating around, and frame rate wasn't impacted as much as I could tell. So these are the satellites that you saw in the intro. And you'll see, where's that other one? Oh, it's really dark because the star is over there. Oh, but here we go. Oh, they're going to collide. Alright. You'll see that they'll actually start to unfurl their, just like in the start. When you start up the game, there's this little satellite that's unfolding its solar panels. And then it starts to track the moon. That's the same exact satellite that's right here, doing the same thing. But you know, now there's 18 of those and one of these. So, yeah. All with a gigantic object. And they actually do, they face their solar panels to the star, and they face their radiators away from the star. It's super geeky. But yeah, that's what a real satellite would do. So that's how we do it. Also, you'll notice that the planet has now in, what do we call that? Can we call a planet waning? I don't know. But anyway, we'll say that the planet is waning as this moon orbits this way, and we follow it. And as this moon continues, the planet will continue to wane. And yeah, that's orbital mechanics again. Boy, oh boy. And here is an actual, like, there's a scaled model of what you're seeing outside. So this cube here is the station. Looking at the moon. And to the left should be the planet, which is what we see. To the right a little bit is going to be another moon. Right? Ah, there you are. Yeah. Again, these distances have been scaled, so their position isn't exact. And there should be another moon that's either straight behind it or nearby. Yeah, I don't see it. So it's going to be hiding behind this moon here. And also another moon that's distant to the planet. Way back there. Yeah. So this model here does update to the orbital mechanics. It's actually just grabbing the same simulation data. Being the one who programmed it, I know exactly what's going on. So if we wanted more of these, we could just pop more down and it would show the same orbital mechanics. Yeah. He needs quieter boots. Eli. Just putting on some EVA boots, walking around, making a bunch of noise. God. All right. Wow. 45 minutes of straight geeking out. Yeah, that was fun. Okay, so we have got a lot more planned for episode 2. That will come fairly later, but we fully plan to release into early access on the 23rd of, if you're watching this later, 23rd of February, so it might already be in early access. And either on that date or very soon after, we'll have a free play mode that will have much more. We'll be able to iterate content into the game much quicker. So look out for that. And yeah, so the metal manufacturing and production will happen first in free play mode, and then as we build out episode 2, it'll be showcased there. Let's see what else. Yeah, I should just go over our fantastic team. We've got a bunch of very talented actors. And don't worry about this guy. He's just geeking out all the time. But our story writer, she's written the characters, and she writes their backgrounds and how they interact, how their histories overlap. And I think it's very compelling story. We've got much more story to come. Again, this is just episode 1, our demo. Our artist, she does a fantastic job. She deals with me asking for crazy mechanical things to be incorporated. I just want to point out this utility wall back here. This was like one of our earlier collabs. I think it came out really well. And it's got a little console. It's got like if you were to actually evacuate this room of air, you would need like probably a dual or triple pump system. So we've got actually technically triple pumps, because these would be the mass flow, and then these would be kick in as it was bringing it down. Like these would get it to like a 10th atmosphere, and then these would get it the rest of the way. If you look at a NASA paper about how they make their vacuum chambers, they'll use multiple series of pumps, and they'll usually use a rotary. Is this called a rotary vane pump? Anyway, they'll use pumps of this. They would not be. You would not be able to see the actual elements of the pump from the exterior, but it's a game. But this is the technology that they would use, or much the same. There's a ton of different pumps out there, so don't knock us for picking these ones, because some are better, some are worse, some are just used for different things. But yeah, also on this console is little. If you know how to get to it, there's this little mini game. It's on one of these. There we go. This is actually part of our. Let's see. We had a variant of this game before that actually required you to solve this puzzle, and though hopefully puzzles will make a comeback. Yeah. For right now, we're just worried about getting the mechanics of the moon mining going, and in true Virginis fashion, Alfred has lined up the satellites that he just deployed in a V, because Virginis, that's what they do. I don't know. Yeah, I'm geeking out over here. I'm having fun. And I mean, this game is the demo is available. Episode 1 is the demo. There won't be any major changes between the demo, episode 1 in the demo, and the episode 1 in the full game. So you're getting the full experience here, just abridged. But I think a good taste of what we have coming. And you can see they're all looking straight at us. Yeah. All right. Where was I with the talent? Yeah. Got a lot more music coming. We're in talks, and Kevin Early. This guy's got a great voice, I have to say, and he's great on stage. I've seen him in several productions, in plays, but he is great at making stories, making sure that they go from a concept in Julie's head, and basically whipping me into shape to, make it a good experience. Yeah. I just think we have a great team here, like hands down. We also have a lot of collaborators. We want to nail the science in every way we can. So we've, been using a biologist to make sure that, even down to our coffee making, even down to the hydroponics that you'll see in episode 2. Hydroponics are just behind this door. Yeah, that's coming. That we have, enough food there, enough, it's making enough oxygen it's all reasonable. And then chemistry, we've got a lot of plans to come on the chemistry side. But overall, I mean, you can already see, we've got chemistry going on in terms of the contents. Let's see what's a good one. Silicon dioxide. We're going to hear all of those concepts of physics. And then me, engineering. I'm just a geek. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this look, and I don't know, we're really excited for how this is taking shape, and we're excited with all the feedback that we're getting. Great feedback, lots of feedback, and this game is going to be better for it. So let's see, what else have we had feedback on? Oh yeah, the sounds. The sounds have been improved. I think we still needs a little bit of work, but you know, it's coming along. Ah, yes, you can make more coffee now. Sadly, you can't drink it yet. We'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah. I think most of the feedback has been incorporated into here. So, like, we made sure that there's more consistency from the different between the different windows. So if you see this panel, it's going to be the same sort of thing. I think it makes this read a whole lot better. And people seem to agree, which is great. You know, our players seem to agree. Let's see. Yeah. Alright, well, I think that's all I've got. I might just play through it again, with or without me talking about it. But yeah, play through it again, just give you, if anyone's just into watching it, see if they want to play the game. Maybe I'll cut up the next one so that you can just have a playthrough. Although, yeah, I think that playthrough is already out there on YouTube anyway. You came here to talk to me, right? Or to hear me talk, right? Right? Hear me geek out? Alright. Well, with that, I'll say bye, at least to YouTube and Twitch. And see you in the verse. As I fumble around with my streaming software. Alright, see ya.